Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to my video series on data science. Today we will introduce exploratory data analysis and explain its importance in the data science workflow. We will also take a hands-on approach to descriptive statistics using Python to summarize key characteristics of our dataset. So what exactly is exploratory data analysis? It's the process of uncovering insights, patterns, and trends in your data before building any machine learning model. EDA is a phase where we investigate the data we have collected to understand its underlying structure, spot any anomalies, and make sense of the relationship between the variables. Think of it as getting a feel of the data, a first step towards extracting valuable insights. Now, why is EDA so important? First, it helps you identify the patterns that might not be immediately obvious. EDA also helps in detecting the outliers and anomalies in the data. It allows researchers and data scientists to generate and select the most important variables to use in predictive models based on their relationship and the importance observed during the EDA process. Insights from EDA guide the selection of appropriate algorithms and modeling techniques that are best suited for the specific characteristics of the data. Initial exploration can lead to hypotheses about causations and correlations within the data, which can then be tested more rigorously through the statistical method or machine learning models. Visualization is a powerful tool for storytelling. It helps convey insights to the stakeholders in a clear, compelling way, making it easier to explain complex patterns and justification for model choices. In short, skipping EDA is like trying to solve a puzzle without knowing what picture you are trying to create. It is foundational for everything that follows. Let's dive into descriptive statistics, which is one of the first tasks you will be performing during the EDA process. Descriptive statistics help us summarize and describe the main features of a dataset. It helps in understanding the basic data structure by describing the central tendency, variability, and the distribution of the data. Let's start with the measures of central tendency, that is mean, median, and mode. Central tendency is all about finding the center of your data, the point that represents the typical value in your dataset. Mean is the most commonly used measure of central tendency. Mean, also known as average, is calculated by summing all the values and then dividing by the total number of values. Here are some exam scores given. The mean is 65.3. Do you think it is the true representative of the central tendency of data? The mean gives us a general idea of the average scores, but it can be influenced by the extreme values, also known as outliers. In Python, you can use the mean function to calculate the mean values. Next is median. This is the middle value when all the data points are arranged in order. When we arrange the scores in ascending order, we have an even number of scores. So we take the average of the two middle values, 55 and 60. The median would be 57.5. The median is less affected by extreme values and gives us a better sense of typical score. In Python, median can be calculated using the median function. Now let's talk about mode. Mode is the most frequent value in the dataset. In our case, the number 55 appears twice, while all the other values appears only once. So this is mode. The mode is particularly useful for understanding the most common occurrence, especially in the categorical data. Now let's move to the measure of dispersion. It is a tool used to describe the spread or variability of the dataset, indicating how much the data points differ from the mean or the median. Measure of dispersion are range, variance, standard deviation, mean absolute deviation, and interquartile range. The range gives us the spread of the data by subtracting the smallest value from the largest value. Our highest score is 99 and the lowest score is 45, so the range would be 54. The range shows us the overall spread, but it does not account for how data points are distributed between the extremes. Variance measures how far each score is from the mean. The formula of variance is the average of the square differences from the mean. In Python, you can calculate the variance using the variance function. The standard deviation is simply the square root of the variance. For our data, it is around 19.47. These values give us a sense of how spread out the scores are. A lower standard deviation would mean the scores are more tightly clustered around the mean, while a higher value means they are more spread out. You can calculate the standard deviation of a data frame column using std function. Mean absolute deviation. Instead of squaring the differences from the mean, we take the absolute values of the differences. This gives us a simpler, more intuitive measure of how far data points are from the mean compared to variance and standard deviation. Finally, we have IQR or interquartile range, which measures the spread of middle 50% of the data. To calculate this, we first find the first quartile Q1 and the third quartile Q3. For our data, Q1 is 50 and Q3 is 75. The IQR is the difference between the Q1 and Q3, which is 25 in this case. The IQR is useful for understanding the spread of the central portion of the data, excluding the outliers. In Python, you can calculate the quartiles using quantile function by passing 0.25 for Q1 and 0.75 for Q3. Let's have a quick recap of what we have discussed so far. Mean gives us the average but is sensitive to outliers. Median offers the middle point and is robust to outliers. Mod highlights the most frequent score. Range shows the total spread of the data. Variance and standard deviation give us more technical measure of spread, with standard deviation being more interpretable. Mean absolute deviation offers a simpler, intuitive measure of dispersion. And IQR focuses on the spread of the central 50% of the data. Each of these measures tell us something different about our data, and understanding when to use each one is the key in the data analysis. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more videos on data science and AI. See you next time.